Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. This is a fantastic audience. I make lots of forward-looking statements. It takes 2 slides to disclaim away my forward-looking statements. But here is the summary of the investment thesis for West Red Lake Gold Mine. So we are putting the Madsen Gold Mine, which is on the western edge of Ontario, in Red Lake, Ontario. We're putting it back into production. We will be producing gold consistently at Madsen starting in June. First gold will actually be in March when we process the bulk sample that we're stockpiling on surface right now. And so there's very few junior companies putting new gold mines into production in 2025. Erdene is the other one that I know of. And so that is a investment opportunity that gives a special leverage to gold, right? Going from no production to production, that re-rate, going from developer to producer, that's a tangible re-rate in the gold investing space, and that's what we're here to deliver in 2025. 2024 was about doing the work to get ourselves ready. 2025 is about delivering gold production. So it's really exciting. We have all permits in place. There's no permitting risk on this opportunity. The build is complete, as you would expect if I'm saying that we're going to be producing gold in just a few months. There is a backstory here that I will reference right now. This is a mine that was built. It was a mine that operated in the 40s, 50s, and 60s and pulled 2 million ounces of gold out of rock that averaged 9 grams per ton. That was part of the gold that's been produced in the Red Lake District, which is 30 million ounces of gold. There has been lots of successful mining from these types of deposits in Red Lake. Unfortunately, the group that had this project just prior to us wasn't able to follow that pattern. So this is a company called Pure Gold. They bought the project in 2014, and over the next 7 years, they spent $350 million doing a lot of very good work, and unfortunately, near the end, cutting corners. And at those corners that they cut at the end were enough to derail the operation. It went bankrupt after only 14 months of commercial production. And then we bought the mine from the senior secured lender who had ended up with it because of the bankruptcy. So Sprott Resource Lending, who we bought it from, has a major stake in our company, about 19% of our company. And that big investment that Pure Gold did was our starting point. In the last year, we've added another $100 million of investment into this project to correct those mistakes that caused them to stumble. And we're ready to turn this thing on, and we are very confident that we are going to be able to do that successfully. We just outlined what the mine's going to look like from a very conservative lens in a study that we put out just last week, a pre-feasibility study. I will speak to that. And we're doing that bulk sample. And really importantly, we have the money in hand to get this thing restarted. We signed a debt facility at the beginning of the year. That's the last piece of capital to get the mine going again. I will speak through this quite quickly because this is only 10 minutes. More than happy to chat with all of you, every single one of you at the booth afterwards if you have any questions. But obviously, the starting point question here is, how are we going to be successful where Pure Gold certainly failed? Pure Gold failed for 2 reasons. They couldn't deliver grade. They expected 9 grams per ton, and they actually delivered about 3.5. And they didn't control costs. So it doesn't take a mining economist to understand that that equation doesn't add up the way you need it to. On the grade side, like I said, there are proven ways to mine Red Lake gold successfully. And the real fundamental there is that you have to drill these deposits very tightly. These are narrow, high-grade veins. They, to use the words pinch and swell, you have to know where the gold sits accurately and not mine the areas where it doesn't exist. Pure Gold went ahead and mined this deposit when the drill holes were, on average, 20 meters apart. The rule of thumb in Red Lake is you need 6 to 7 meter drill spacing. So in the last year, a big part of that money that we've spent has been 58,000 meters of drilling into the resource that we will mine in the first 18 to 24 months of production to tighten up the drill holes to 6 to 7 meter centers so we know accurately where the gold is. That's how we're going to answer the grade question, and we will demonstrate that with that bulk sample that is currently being stockpiled on surface and that we will process soon. That's the grade side. The other basket of problems for the prior operator was on costs, and that came primarily from trying to build the mine on a very squeezed budget. They wanted to spend as little as possible to get into production. What that meant is that they cut corners and they didn't do projects that would have made a more efficient mine. So the other part of that $100 million that we've spent over the last year has been doing those projects so that we're set up for efficient operations. Efficiency really is cost control in mining, efficiency and operational readiness, which is just knowing how to maintain efficiency across all of the parts of the complicated machine. Those are the things that we've really been focusing on. So that conversation on its own could take 10 minutes. I obviously went through it quickly. Happy to talk about that in more detail with anyone. This is a slide that runs through that concept of what the definition drilling does. You can see that they, in very short, mined the whole purple ribbon, and what you need to do is mine just the red blobs. The red blobs are the lenses of mineralization. If you mine the entire purple ribbon, the red blobs are in the purple ribbon, but they are not spread through the purple ribbon. The red blobs is where the gold is. So just mine where the gold is, and you're going to be able to deliver that material to the mill at the grade you need it to be. It takes definition drilling. We will always be definition drilling at the Madsen mine. That's how you operate a mine like this. In terms of capital projects to underpin an efficient operation, the green line is an example, is the biggest example of the capital projects that we're doing. There are 2 portals and ramps into this mine. The east portal is one that Pure Gold built, established, and then abandoned because they didn't want to put in the money to drive that tunnel that is the green line. We've put in the money to drive that tunnel so that we can pull material out of a large, modern portal with big trucks that's right beside the mill, and it's just a far more efficient way of moving material. So that's an example of the kind of project that we're doing. We've built a camp, we've built a mine dry, we've done a tailings dam lift, all of the things that needed investment and that without them, the mine was not particularly efficient. Okay, so we're getting ready to start production. This is a show me story because this mine failed just over 2 years ago. So everybody wants to see that we can do it. There's a lot of people who need to see success rather than just believing what we say. The test mining program is our opportunity to do that. So we're test mining right now. It's really just the first 8,000 tons of what we will mine. We're batch stockpiling that on surface. We're going to start up the mill in just over a month, and then we're going to put those bulk samples through the mill. The mill is a great piece of infrastructure. The prior operator did a great job building the mill. And so in early April, we're going to be able to say, in these 4 stope areas, we expected, the resource model said, you're going to get this many tons at this much grade, and we're going to be able to say, here's what we mined, and here's the grade that we mined. That's going to be a really important moment in the market for this story, because it's a show me story, and that's going to be our first opportunity to show that we can make good on what didn't work out last time. It's also really important for us to just ramp up our operations safely, accurately, and efficiently, which again, underpin a successful mining operation. We just put out our pre-feasibility study. We're about to start producing. Seems like a strange time to do it. But when you buy a mine that's fully built and fully permitted but has issues and needs a bunch of work, and then you're trying to do the work, and then you're going to put the mine plan out, but you're getting ready to start operations, that's just the order that these things happen in. This pre-feasibility study is a very conservative look at what this mine can be. It still generated nice economic numbers, absolutely validates that it's worth restarting this mine right now. But if you want to talk about how this project is worth more than the $315 million value that was pegged on it here, I'd love to have that conversation, because these are all of the reasons. There's lots of upside potential in this project that we will pull into a new mine study later this year, but the mine makes sense based on the conservative mine plan that we are implementing, first production in June, and I'd love to tell you all more about it. That's the West Red Lake story. Thank you very much.